T-21 before the event. And last night was Beaver full moon. And my travels were fitting. Beavers are industrious creatures. They build with their hands, and they also work together, which definitely leads me to believe that there's going to be some big division plot coming. It's going to be a point of division that's going to happen very soon. Something to separate the people on a different level. I think it's going to be before the event. If I was writing a story, this is where a famous actor would die. Lockdowns would occur, and I would start flipping election results. I would also start terror acts. If I was writing a story, if I was those that were writing a story that promoted order through chaos, this would be the time I'd be gearing up for all of that, to get as much fear energy as possible, as much anxiety energy as possible. But in my travels last night, in connecting with higher self, I said, if we're going to beat this thing, we need to get some reps in. You're not just going to outshoot an NBA three-point specialist without practicing. You're not going to outlift an Olympic deadlifter if you don't get some reps in, you get some work in, right? So I literally laid on my back with my arms crossed last night to project, and I pushed myself out of my body and floated upward, basically killing myself in the flesh. And I'm hopeful that my avatar being controlled by the program, my NPC avatar didn't wake up and do anything stupid. That's a risk you take when you push your essence, your soul essence, life force out of your host body. That's a risk that you take. You also take the risk of another soul coming in and taking over your body as well. I protected my body. Best way to protect your body during astral travels is to hold a grounding stone, obsidian, black kyanite, jet, if you can find it. It's one way to do it. I had my keychain with the helm of awe on it. I held that. Anyway, I pushed my soul out and I went into this light tunnel. It wasn't anything like I thought it would be. There was a soft, it was bright, it was powerful, it was pulling like a tractor beam. But it was a soft, you know how you can buy the light bulbs and you got like the super bright ones. Then you have those soft light bulbs. It was a soft light, like lunar light, but it was projecting different images. It projected um, images of my daughter, images of my grandfather. It was like, don't you want to have one last conversation with me, son? My daughter was like, Dad, here I am. Come to me. Come to me. Let's go get some pizza. Let's talk, Dad. Don't you miss me? Um, but I expected that. That I expected. So I was like, no fool am I. So I turned the other way. And the other way was like a fiery light, almost like the sun, right? But there were these things flying in and out of it. I don't know if they were ships or what, because they were, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell what they were. So as we said at T-21, I decided in the Astro to start getting practice of running reps through the soul trap at T-21. But when I looked at that fiery sunlight thing, it pulled me away enough from that soft light to be able to look up. And when I looked up, this was the craziest thing. I looked up and there was a circle of darkness like above me. I never looked down. I never looked down for some reason. But it was a circle of darkness above me. But I looked at the fiery sunlight portal thing, reverse black hole. Everything is bizarro world here. They tell you one thing, oh, it's a black hole. But the black hole wasn't black at all. I think black is used not in the terms of color, but in the terms of knowledge. Black meaning null and void, meaning they don't understand what the hell it is. Everything here is reversed. You watch the news and that's your movie. That's your escape. That's your fiction. Hence the term truth, stranger than fiction. But then you put in a movie, go watch Truman Show. Well, there's your news. There's your daily dose of education. As I return to the main course of the topic, I saw this darkness and I floated upward to it. And when I floated upward to it, I saw myself as I was disintegrating. Because I saw myself still in my meat suit because I was still using these eyes. And these eyes were the first things that like melted away. And I felt it, like I could feel it. It was like hot candle wax, but I was the candle. But I enjoyed it. Like, I have an affinity for certain levels of pain anyway. I enjoy certain levels of pain. My threshold is somewhat high, but this wasn't pain. It was a release. It was almost like, being out all day long and finally getting home to your bathroom and setting on your commode in your bathroom and using your bathroom because you've been holding it all day. It was, and it wasn't any straining or anything. It was just a flow. Oh, it was beautiful. Yes, I literally just compared um, my flesh melting away to taking a dump. Yep, I did. Because that's all I got. That's all I got. But it was amazing. And when that happened, I saw myself as light, but not in the sense of how we see light. I was violet. I was this purplish color. And then I saw that purplish light started forming into another body. And I could see it. But I wasn't that entity anymore. I was watching, I was building, I was constructing a body's felt a body fit for this space that I was in. This negative space that I was in, not negative in the sense of bad, but the negative in the sense of blank canvas. So I was able to create. And I remembered what I created to the point that I was able to actually draw a picture. Notice that top eye and the jagged areas above that eye. That was like a little mouth almost. But that was the only eye that I saw out of. These two things on the side were not eyes. I don't know what they were. That's not a nose. That may be a mouth. I'm not even sure, but that's what it was. You see how compact and stout that body is? Well, that body is dense. That is a dense body. And the one that I created in the astral was much more compact, much more dense, almost built like a cannonball. But the staff was there with the eye in it. That eye was sight beyond sight. That cape. That shield was clear, it was translucent, but it was almost like labradorite. It was almost like a labradorite shield. It had flashy colors, and I have a piece of labradorite over here. I can show that. And then this thing here was following me. The as above, so below triangles, but they had arrows with the alpha and omega symbol within it. I created this body and I just floated. Just floated. Let me grab this labradorite so I can give you an idea of what the shield look. Here it is. This is labradorite. See like the little specks in it, the little flashes. One of my favorite pieces, yeah, there it is. One of my favorite pieces is labradorite. My shield was made of labradorite. Labradorite is a transformative stone, and it also it's a catch-all. Like if you only own one stone, own labradorite. Labradorite is transformative. It is it can be used to ground. It can be used to open up any chakra. Like labradorite is the catch-all, be all, because it has so many different colors in it. Like you saw the blue flashes. It'll flash purple. It'll flash like this grayish, clearish color. It'll flash gold. And then it has dark elements in it as well. It will run from your crown to your root. It will literally, it can open up anything. When you hold labradorite, you feel wide open and empowered. Because labradorite is transformative, it tells me that my shield, being made of labradorite, would deflect anything, or it would redirect anything. hence the transformative nature of the labradorite. Labradorite is like the perfect shield. Like when we guard ourselves, we want to guard ourselves with a grounding stone, but labradorite is a better choice. Because labradorite transforms, you can't transform without first having something to transform. So labradorite will absorb, transform, and then from that point, it's whatever you do with it. Whether you block it back, whether you redirect it, or whether you collect it and keep it. So that shield being labradorite was freaking perfect. But what got me was that labradorite existed as an option floating in space. So that tells you more about the crystals that we have access to. But I just floated. I just literally floated. I wasn't headed anywhere. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't want to go anywhere. I just floated. And I just built myself. I don't know how long I was there. I don't know how long I was building. But then the weirdest thing happened. My work phone started ringing. And my work phone has been on silent shit for a month. But it rang. It rang. It rang at 7:57. And it brought me back. As you can see, the disdain for that. Because floating in that body was the most peace that I felt in a long time. It gave me a renewed sense of hope as well. Yes, hope. I finally placed you somewhere where you really want to be. Different lesson for a different day about Hope and her sister Faith. I had a conversation with both of them one day and they kicked my ass verbally and I needed it. But anywho, what was also strange was that when I got up this morning, I saw my son and my mom. My mom said, yeah, Donnie was calling your name in his sleep this morning. Appropriate. My son is calling for his daddy in his sleep. My work phone that's been on silent for about a month, a couple of weeks at least, rings to bring me back. Because I wasn't coming back. I was out. I was freaking out. And because I did it once, that means I can do it again. But because I did it once, I will not go in with the arrogance that those who are watching didn't watch me do it. They're going to ratchet up that trap. So I have to ratchet up my abilities. They're going to make the trap harder. So thus I got to go harder. T-21. They see me, they hear me, they feel me. But in 21 days, they will not want to deal with me. Ashe.